More of the despicable actions of the US-backed opposition in Venezuela are getting exposed. Now, a young man who was recruited by Venezuela's right wing told teleSUR in a recent interview that the anti-government lawmakers, the people who are being backed by the United States and Venezuela, are giving illegal drugs and money for the protesters to go ahead and commit violent acts. And these protests began almost about 3 months ago, where at least 95 people have died as a result. Now, his voice and his name were not made public to protect his anonymity, but here's what he had to say. Well, the majority of those who went to fight consumed drugs. All of them used drugs. They destroyed anything in their path, lots of ugly things. Like when at one point they cut some guy's throat because he was a Chavista, I think. Now, he does name names inside his statement. He claimed that opposition lawmakers, including the National Assembly member Miguel Pizarro, would recruit young men and provide them with all the supplies needed to carry out violent marches against the government. Among those items were food, clothes, gasoline, shields, and illicit drugs. Crispy, cocaine, marijuana, and something called popper. Most of them would consume this, and it would make them lose control and do crazy things. Now, the man speaking out also says that the protesters were specifically given drugs to make them violent and then put at the front of the protest to try to get them killed. In other words, they deliberately made people go out specifically while they were high on drugs and essentially sacrifice them to try to use as a propaganda war against the Bolivarian government. Now, essentially, these deaths were planned. The opposition, backed by the United States, planned for these people to die in order so that they can be used to demonize the Venezuelan government. And this is just another sickening example of U.S. imperialism. And the U.S., it continually comes into these places which don't carry out their interests. They carry out all kinds of human rights abuses, all of it just to forward their own interests. The attempt to collapse the Bolivarian government is nothing more than a crime itself. And here's another example of a crime that the United States, specifically U.S. imperialism, should be held responsible for. And it's just, it's really sickening that as they cry and give all these statements about how they feel for the Venezuelan people and all the difficulties they're going through, aside from the fact that the United States is responsible for these difficulties, are now going ahead and just sacrificing them like pawns just so that American corporations can scoop up even more wealth, particularly with regards to the energy sector. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.